Excellency Dr. Badar Abdelati, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Immigration, and Egyptian expatriates of the Arab Republic of Egypt. So we'll be making a short statement, and then I'll invite His Excellency to also make the statement. We may not have much time for too many questions because he's also destined to have a session with the President of the Republic of Kenya. So as soon as we finish, perhaps there could be just one or two very short ones, and then we have to leave. Your Excellency Dr. Badar Abdelati, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration, and the Egyptian expatriates of the Arab Republic of Egypt, distinguished members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I had the distinct honor of receiving His Excellency, Dr. Badar Abdelati, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration, and Egyptian expatriates of the Arab Republic of Egypt, who is on an official visit to Kenya. Your Excellency, Kenya values its long-standing and historic relationship with the Arab Republic of Egypt, a partnership founded on mutual respect, shared African heritage, and a common responsibility for regional stability and progress. Since the establishment of the diplomatic relations in 1964, Egypt has remained a trusted partner to Kenya across political, economic, social, defense, and security cooperation. I recall the joint decision during the state visit to Cairo in January 2025 by His Excellency President William Ruto and His Excellency Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to elevate our relations to a strategic and comprehensive partnership. During that visit, our two governments also signed 12 bilateral agreements, significantly expanding cooperation across key sectors, including trade and investment, education and research, technology, governance, gender equality, youth empowerment, maritime affairs, telecommunications and ICT, space cooperation, housing and urban development, and sustainable development. I commend the progress made by our respective ministries and departments and agencies in establishing sectoral working groups to spearhead implementation. To ensure momentum is sustained, I note that the two countries are set to hold a midterm review to assess progress, identify challenges, and refine our strategic priorities. This is in addition to the proposed state visit of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to Kenya later this year. We have taken note of Egypt's interest in aligning the visit with the Africa-France Summit to be held in Nairobi in May 2026, and Kenya remains open to constructive engagement on this proposal. On trade and investment, His Excellency Dr. Abdelati and I underscored the importance of deepening economic cooperation by creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. We encourage our private sectors to leverage synergies, diversify trade products, and fast-track the establishment of a Kenya-Egypt Joint Business Council. In our engagement, we emphasize the need to streamline trade, address various issues, trade facilitation, inefficiencies, and to unlock the economic resilience and shared prosperity. On water security and the Nile basin, Your Excellency, Kenya reaffirmed its principal position that no party should be left worse off in the utilization of shared water resources. We continue to advocate for African-led, inclusive, and dialogue-based approaches within the Nile Basin Initiative framework. In this regard, Kenya acknowledges Egypt's position as articulated during the 33rd Nile Council of Ministers held in Bujumbura in December 2025, which calls for dialogue, cooperation, and mutual respect, and stands ready to serve as an impartial facilitator to advance cooperative and sustainable Nile Basin management. On capacity building and development cooperation, Your Excellency, Kenya appreciates Egypt's pledge of over $7 million toward high-impact development projects, as well as Egypt's offer of targeted capacity building support in diplomacy, security, agriculture, and religious leadership. Consultations are ongoing to finalize implementation modalities. And today I'm happy to note that His Excellency has indicated that this figure has been adjusted upwards. On peace and security, we underscored our mutual commitment to peace, security, and affirmed the fundamental role of stability in fostering robust economic growth and societal well-being. Together, we appreciate the ongoing peace and security efforts in our regions and stand ready to collaborate closely with international partners to address shared challenges and promote regional stability. Kenya appreciates Egypt's role in the African Union Peace and Security Council, through which Egypt has made significant contributions in the promotion of peace, stability, and conflict resolution. Egypt's active participation reflects a strong commitment to fostering regional cooperation and security. We reaffirmed our steadfast commitment to support peace initiatives in the Horn of Africa. Our shared efforts is aimed to not only secure stability, but also foster sustainable development and prosperity of our people. On the African Union reform and multilateral coordination, Kenya, as a champion of African Union institutional reform, reaffirmed its commitment to advancing more effective, unified, and financially sustainable African Union aligned with the Agenda 2063. We agreed on the urgency of concluding outstanding reform priorities, including the restructuring of remaining AU organs and clarifying the division of labor between the AU, regional economic communities, and member states. Moreover, Honorable Minister, Kenya presented its candidatures for the Kenya Continental and International positions, including Judge Phoebe Okoa for the International Court of Justice for the period 2027 to 2036, and we would appreciate, and we do appreciate, Egypt's support towards the re-election of Dr. Litha Musimi Ogana. This actually happened, and we thank you for your support. It was done for Ogana, but for Phoebe, it's coming in November. In closing, Your Excellency, Kenya remains firmly committed to advancing our strategic and comprehensive partnership with Egypt as a platform for regional stability, economic growth, and Africa-led solutions. I look forward to sustained engagement grounded in strategic trust, mutual respect, and shared interests. Thank you, Your Excellency. I hand over the mic to you.
Well, thank you so much, dear brother, dear Honorable Permanent Cabinet Secretary, dear brother Musalia Mudavadi. It's a great pleasure and a great honor for me to be here in my second home in Kenya, this very, very brotherly country to Egypt. And as you correctly mentioned, dear brother, we are bound by distinguished historic ties, and we have to make use of this historical ties in order to look to the future and through further enhancing and deepening our cooperation. It's indeed, as you correctly mentioned, that the Kenyan-Egyptian ties serve as a promising and definitive model of fraternity and cooperation that should characterize relations among the various African countries and Nile basin nations. His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of the Arab Republic of Egypt personally oversees our efforts towards the further advancement of our bilateral relations, not only on the political level, but also and notably in trade, economic, investment, and cultural relationship. The President conveyed a letter to his dear brother, His Excellency President William Ruto, to build on the momentum achieved by the historic visit of President Ruto to Egypt in January 2025, during which we elevated our relations to the strategic and comprehensive partnership level. During my discussions today with my dear brother, Honorable PCS, we today talked about our aspirations and our full commitment to strengthen our relationship and to operationalize the declaration of a strategic and comprehensive partnership with a view to identifying specific sectors and the projects in line with the Kenyan priorities, including in the military, security, and the counter-terrorism fields, as well as economic cooperation, infrastructure, pharmaceutical, as well as new economies like digital economy. My deliberations today with my dear brother, the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, addressed also the cooperation in the field of energy, trade, investment, and I updated my dear brother with my meeting today with prominent figures from business community here in Kenya, from the Chamber of Commerce. We met today for 2 hours and we discussed a lot of issues of mutual interest, including more Egyptian reliance on strategic commodities we are importing from Kenya. I got some figures today which is expressing how we are mutually dependency on each other, especially with the strategic commodities such as tea, meat, coffee, and other commodities we are importing from this lovely and sisterly country, Kenya. And also that Egypt stand ready to help and to support and to export to Kenya. We agreed about joint ventures, about encouraging more investment from Egypt. We have investment in Africa worth of $14 billion, and we would like to redirect a sizable amount of this investment into Kenya, especially with the very conducive environment for investment here under the leadership of His Excellency President Ruto. We spoke also about investment, about trade, about removing all impediments which is hindering the flow of trade and investment between the two great nations. We spoke also in details today about cooperation in the field of integrated water resources management, particularly in dam projects and the expansion of irrigation, potable water and drainage network, as well as harvest dams. This cooperation should be pursued under the instructions of President Sisi and His Excellency President William Ruto through intensified technical collaboration between the ministries of water resources and irrigation of both countries. I want here to highlight that Egypt launched a new fund, we call it the Nile Development Fund, for financing and mobilize international financing for infrastructure projects in the Nile basin countries, including dam projects mainly, with an initial Egyptian contribution of $100 million US dollars. And in line with our historic relations, Kenya is accorded priority to benefit from this Nile Development Fund to finance the studies and the implementation of specific dam projects here in Kenya. And this is alongside, of course, digging more wells in arid areas here in Kenya to provide more water. Furthermore, I underscored in our deliberation with my dear brother, Honorable Mudavadi, today the importance of advancing bilateral cooperation in the electricity and the renewable energy sectors as well as grid expansion. I expressed our readiness to share our expertise in this sector, particularly in wind and solar power generations, and we can build a lot of mobile substations to generate electricity in remote areas using renewable as well as wind farm in beloved Kenya. I also reviewed Egypt's capabilities in the pharmaceutical industry and medical supplies, expressing our aspiration to increase Egyptian pharmaceutical products and localization of pharmaceutical products here in Kenya. Additionally, I conveyed our keenness to develop bilateral cooperation in production of medical and pharmaceutical production by initiating the transfer of the certain fill and finish lines to Kenya as a first phase, to be followed by further stages of manufacturing and transfer of technology and expertise. And I had the honor in Addis to attend a very important side event hosted by His Excellency President William Ruto about localization and manufacturing of pharmaceutical and medical products. And I commend His Excellency President Ruto for his leadership on championing this important file of localization of medical and pharmaceutical products. I noted also the growing interest of Egyptian businessmen and investors in Kenyan market over recent years, especially with the modernization plan by His Excellency President William Ruto, and our companies, our businessmen, they are very keen to invest in this very important country. And I pointed out that the volume of trade exchange between our two countries reached approximately $567 million in 2024. This is not enough. This is not matching the capabilities of Kenya and Egypt and their huge economic and trade capacities. I emphasized the necessity of joint action to steadily increase trade volume. We would like to double this trade volume in the coming few years. And also, our discussions also touched upon Egyptian investments in Kenya, noting the presence of some 64 Egyptian companies currently operating in Kenya, and we would like to double their investment and the numbers of the Egyptian companies here. And I affirmed our aspiration to double these figures, both in terms of the numbers of companies and the total volume of Egyptian investment in Kenya. Let me conclude by saying that I was keen to arrange a meeting with the Kenyan business community, as I mentioned, on the margin of my current visit. And I believe that Kenya has huge investment opportunities here, and we will encourage and push the Egyptian business community to come to invest in infrastructure, in energy, in pharmaceutical, in agro industry. So sky is the limit for our cooperation. Also, I discussed my dear brother, Honorable Mudavadi, regional issues of mutual interest, and we touched upon the current situation and recent developments in the Nile basin, and we commend the leading role by Kenya in this very important file in promoting dialogue and promoting discussions among the Nile basin countries based on dialogue in order to reach a common ground based on mutual understanding and, of course, based on win-win situation and the principles of causing no harm and the consensus, of course. And we discussed also the developments of the in this file, and the Honorable Mudavadi promised me that Kenya will continue to be a bridge for dialogue, for cooperation, for refraining from unilateralism and respect of international law. And yesterday, as you know, our leaders adopted the Africa Water Vision and Policy 2063, which underscore the principles of cooperation, that water is not an economic commodity, but it's a basic human rights, and that the transboundary rivers are subject to the principles of international law, namely no causing harm and period notification. We discussed also Horn of Africa, Sudan, tension in the Middle East and the Red Sea, and their repercussions on our two countries and on the region. In conclusions, I extend my gratitude once again to the Prime Cabinet Secretary and my dear big brother, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs of the Brotherly Republic of Kenya, for the warm reception and the generous hospitality, and I look forward to continued collaboration and coordination between our two countries for the mutual benefits of our people. God bless you. God bless the people of this great country. And within few minutes, I will convey a letter of from President Sisi to his dear brother, President William Ruto. Thank you so much, my dear brother.
His Excellency, sir, because of time, we are only going to restrict journalists to only 2 questions. And I would request that the question should be related to Egypt and Kenya. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Desmond Tiro from the Associated Press. My first question to the Minister from Egypt is, how does Egypt balance rejecting foreign military interference with the need for international cooperation in the Red Sea security? For Mr. Mudavadi, what efforts is the government putting in place to bring back Kenyans that were being sent to Russia, and to bring these recruiters that took Kenyans to Russia to fight for the war? What are the efforts that Kenya is taking into place?
My name is George Rido from MediaMax. 2 questions. One, with respect to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, with a pillar to job creation, Egyptian businesses are finding it very difficult to set up companies in Kenya. I don't know whether in your discussions there was anything to do with specific decisions to enable Egyptian businesses to set up factories here so that they don't just import electronics and apparel, but to manufacture them in Kenya, thus creating jobs. Number 2, in your discussions with respect to the Nile and water, is Nyanza and part of Western Busia County allowed to irrigate their land from Lake Victoria for the first time?
Thank you. Let me just say that in a statement we talked of establishing the Joint Business Council.
Yes.
So within the framework of the Joint Business Council, as you heard my colleague say, there are issues when he met the business community where they raised concerns of specific areas, which we don't want to enumerate here. But within the framework of the Joint Business Council, we shall jointly address areas where there are some obstruction to the free flow of goods and services. So that is underway. The second thing that I just want to say is that if you listen to the statements we have made, we are talking of the Nile basin. Clearly, Kenya, Uganda, and the others, Burundi, fall within that framework. And listening to our colleague, he has said that they want to help even in supporting dams and other water infrastructure in the region, including areas around Lake Victoria. So when we talk about dialogue and utilization of the water, it's not about not being allowed to use it, but to use it so that it is sustainable, yes, and that everybody, yes, benefits from it. Yes. So that is the framework in which this conversation is taking place. As for the Russia-related issues, I will be making a trip to Moscow, as I indicated, next month. And the issues there, we shall be able to speak directly with our counterparts and the authorities in Russia. So if you bear with me, it's only a matter of time, but we are taking it seriously, and we intend to make this visit so that we can have a candid conversation on the challenges that we are facing. Thank you.
Well, very quickly, I have nothing to add to what my dear brother mentioned. Very quickly, Egypt is pioneering on promoting peaceful and diplomatic solutions. We are always against military solutions to settle down differences, and this is what we are doing in Palestine. It was Egypt who conference and to end the war in Gaza. The same applied in Libya, the same applied in Sudan, in Yemen, in the Horn of Africa. We are here to promote peaceful solution. We must promote solutions based on win-win situation. Everybody should benefit without refraining or without applying unilateralism and being against international law when it comes to issues related to water cooperation, especially with the water scarcity in Egypt. We are under the poverty line, so it's an existential issue for us. But we are with cooperation, with regional integration, with promotion of peaceful and diplomatic solutions. As for I met today with representatives of Egyptian companies working here, and they sound positive with regard their presence here, and they would like to expand, they would like to flourish, not only for trade, but also to settle down, to stay here by doing localization, manufacturing. We are considering Kenya as our gateway to East Africa and to Central Africa. And that's why we would like to have a logistic zone here to manufacture and then to re-export our products to neighboring countries in East and Central Africa. So we are working together, and we will have with this joint committee, which will be convened in Egypt this year. This is the institutional framework to deal with any impediments which is hindering the flow of goods or business. And we believe that things are moving well. If you ask me, do we have to do more? Of course. And this is what we are doing. And above all, we have the political will by the two leaders to further deepening investment and trade cooperation between the two countries based on win-win situation. Thank you so much.
His Excellency, sir, we are now going to proceed and take group photos. We are taking group photos, sir.